My first introduction was my grandparents actually bought me a Game Boy in 1989, and I had two games. There's Tetris and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Back from the Sewer, and those were sort of my only games that I ever got. My parents wouldn't buy me any other games for that. So just played those games over and over again, and yeah, I mean, they're still some of my favorites today. I studied fine art in university. I had a focus on sort of large-scale mixed media drawing is what I was doing. I also, did an interactive comic book as my thesis project. And that's sort of interesting to look back on because a lot of the stuff that I did for that thesis sort of weirdly relates to what I do now in the games industry, sort of with storytelling through games and sort of role-playing games and that sort of thing. A professor of mine after I graduated sort of recommended me for a particular job position that they had seen at a very small game company. And it was a Flash game studio. I'm probably dating myself a little bit with that, but we made Flash games. I've worked at Glu for 7 years now at the same studio in Toronto. And I work with a team of 18 artists, super talented people, producing assets for, a variety of games, but certainly our most popular game is Kim Kardashian Hollywood. And the guys are producing, hundreds of assets every month for that game. If you look at the Kim Kardashian Hollywood game, as a female player in that game, you can be the greatest celebrity in the world. You can build that business empire for yourself within the game. You can love whoever you want, and you can dress however you want, which is really cool. And, Kim Kardashian Hollywood is one of the most popular games of all time at this point. And it's a game that's about a woman. It's a game that has a main character that's a woman. It was art directed by a woman, and there's many really talented women that work on our team every day on that game. Women as characters in games have been represented in not the best light historically. So, whether it's sort of like highly sexualized, or like as a princess that needs to be rescued, or an unpopular player B option at best, like real women and strong female characters, there's not a ton of them out there in games, and we really need to have that as something where women can play games and see themselves within those games. If you're playing a game and you can't identify with the characters of the content of the game, then you're really unlikely to seek out sort of a career within that industry, right? So if people can see themselves within the game, they can see a variety of people, and we have that inclusivity and diversity in the content of our games, then we're going to see more interest from various groups of people to come into the industry. I think it's really important for other women in leadership positions and myself to mentor young women who are coming into the industry as much as possible, and I almost see it as a duty to do that, to try to build those strong, talented, and intelligent women and their careers up so that they have that mentorship that they really need. So one of my big role models when I was growing up and still today is Joan Jett, who was a punk rock guitarist, mostly in the 80s. And maybe it's not the most obvious choice for me in the industry, but she's super inspirational to me. And there's a lot of parallels between the situation that she was in the music industry and the game industry today. She's a woman playing guitar at a time when that wasn't totally cool and maybe wasn't totally accepted by the industry. So for me, her inspiration is really like, go out there and do what you want. You don't need permission from anybody. You don't need permission from a man. Just do what you feel is important to you. So if I have, one piece of advice for young women trying to get into the industry, I would say go out there and make it happen for yourself and don't give up.